Okay, so you've probably heard this advice. You need to relax your throat, relax your throat, relax your throat, relax your throat. Now, in today's episode, if you've tried this advice and you're not seeing the results or it's actually pretty much the same, let's talk about why this is happening and make sure to stay to the end because I'm going to share 2 ideas that can actually help you find a truly more relaxed throat. Let's go. Now, obviously, this isn't always the case. I've had plenty of experiences when I was working with a student of mine and just telling them, hey, you got to chill out, you got to relax your throat a bit more. That actually seemed to do the trick. But for a lot of us, especially beginners, and I remember when I first started, every time a teacher would tell me to relax my throat, I would just get even more strained. Like it would actually make things even harder. A lot of us will find this advice quite counterintuitive. It's almost like telling someone who's stressed to relax. Sometimes that makes them even more stressed. But let's say you actually try on this advice. Now, some of you might get into a sound like this. I'm relaxing my throat. I'm finding a really, really relaxed sound. But then I also don't really sound like the way that I want to do. And so if you're running into this problem as well, this is also a challenge because what's happened here, when you're trying to relax your throat, you've also completely disengaged your voice as well. And so let's break down why this is happening and let me share some ideas on how you can overcome this challenge. Now, real quick, for those of you who are new to the show, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher based in Australia, and I've worked with clients all over the world. And really on this show, my goal is to make learning how to sing as simple and as easy as possible. So if this is something that is up your lane, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also make sure to hit the bell notification so you get access to our episodes every Thursday and Friday. And if you're looking to improve your voice even faster, check out some of the links in the descriptions. I've got ways to work with me privately or even self-study programs that tackle the fundamentals of singing. So let's talk about why this happens. Why is it that, when we're told to relax our voice, we either tense up even more or we, even just completely disengage. And the reason why is for a lot of us as singers, when we're first learning how to sing, there is a bit of this kind of all or nothing approach when it comes to engaging the right muscles, when it comes to engaging our voice. Now, for example, think of it like this. If I told you, hey, flex your biceps and don't flex your triceps, completely relax your triceps. A lot of us, when we try this, it's going to be hard because what's going to happen is we're probably going to fire everything. We're going to flex our biceps, but because we're flexing our biceps, we also flex our triceps at once. And so this is the challenge, right? When it comes to singing, we often either engage everything, constrict the muscles, our support, and we engage everything and we get like a really kind of tight sound, or we completely disengage. And the challenge for us is how do we start to develop our voice or develop our technique so that, we're only flexing the bicep and relaxing the tricep. We basically want to get our vocal folds, the muscles that get the cords to close together, get them to vibrate, get them to stretch, basically allow them to do their thing. How do we get them to engage without the other muscles engaging? Muscles that are constrictors, your throat muscles, the muscles underneath your chin, all of those muscles that don't really actually help you make a sound. How do we disengage them? So that's largely the purpose of building your techniques. So I want to share 2 ideas, 2 exercises that will take you away from this focus of just relaxing your voice. So our first exercise here is actually exactly what I've talked about. How can we get the vocal folds to engage without the rest of the muscles engaging, right? Without some of those constrictor muscles engaging. Now, one way we can explore this is just playing around with gentle tapping of our voice. And it sounds a bit like this. It's a very, humble sound. It's not like there's a lot going on. But what I'm training there is the ability to get my chords to come together cleanly, and do it in a way without constriction. Because what is not happening is this. Number 1, I'm not actually doing that. That's where a lot of the other constrictors come in. I'm simply finding, I'm just simply finding a gentle connection with my voice. Now, the reason why this is useful is this is truly the foundation of how do we get our voice to do the work and all the other muscles to relax. Because you can build from there. For example, holding out the notes. So then when I add my sustain, I'm trying to come from this place where my chords are doing the work mainly. That allows me to find a sound which is, engaged, but my neck muscles is not engaging as much as it used to. So this is actually a little idea you can play with starting off with gentle taps, really isolating the vocal muscles, and then you trying to hold notes and sustain. Because once you can do this, you can start basically going up and down your range. But because my vocal folds are doing the work, it doesn't feel as taxing as what happens before. And I'm not thinking about relaxing the throat here at all. I'm just thinking about, can I get that gentle connection and can I maintain that when I'm going up and down my range? So this is why it's so important sometimes, especially when you're stuck here. Let's shift our focus away from relaxing the throat, but truly building the right coordination, which is getting your cords to close without any of the other muscles engaging. Now, real quick, when some of you are first doing these gentle taps, you might notice that it won't sound exactly like mine. There might be a bit more like air leaking through, like That's completely normal. Do it again. Just keep training and keep seeing if you can find that kind of gentle, but it's a clean connection. There's not a lot of air leaking through. See if you can keep finding that, because when you do that, that is the foundation of great technique. Now, the other thing you might notice is you might kind of grip with your throat as well. That, once again, is not it, right? See if you can keep focusing on finding a gentle connection, because that's going to mean your voice itself is the thing that's doing the work, not the muscles around it, not the extrinsic muscles that don't really help with your sound production. Now, the second idea that can be really helpful is sometimes imagining a relaxed throat is tricky, because a lot of us have not felt what a relaxed throat needs to be, right? We don't have a reference of how it should feel like. And so just telling someone to relax is like, it's impossible. But what we can do here is, what if we replace the idea of a relaxed throat with a throat that feels more tall? A throat that feels more tall. Now, what that means is maybe there's a bit more kind of depth to it, and maybe a bit more kind of height to your throat as well. Now, I get that this is pretty full of imagery, so it might be hard for you to picture, but see if you can focus on it. Close your eyes for a moment and see if you can notice your throat getting a bit taller. There's a bit more height to it, maybe up and back, and there's a bit more depth to it as well. And when you can find that, you basically want to apply your sound to it. And so as I was doing that exercise, I was not thinking about, hey, I need to relax my throat. I was just thinking, keep a gentle connection, keep that, the chords, and let them, do the work. And also allowing for like a taller kind of vowel. There's a bit more kind of up and back, and there's a bit more down and out as well. And this idea is another way to perceive a more relaxed throat. And so this is something you can actually play with yourself. Just find an exercise, find a song, and just, close your eyes first, imagine this kind of taller throat, and then sing a song through that. This is a very, very useful technique. Now, chances are you're probably not going to get this the first time. You're not always going to get this the first time, but know that this is another way to tackle the challenges. And so play around with it 10 times, play around with it 20 times, play around with it 30 times, and see if you can get it that way. Now, that is a wrap, team. I hope you found some value out of this episode. And if you did, all I ask is please share this with a friend or a family. This would really, really help, and it would mean the world to me. And I also want to leave you with a quote that has really, really inspired me, because I think sometimes learning how to sing is not just about the technique. The mindset is equally as important. And this was by the great writer, George Eliot. It is never too late to be what you might have been. And the reason why I share this is I know a lot of you listening to this show, you're on the fence when it comes to learning how to sing. You're interested, but something might be holding you back, whether it be, the belief in yourself, maybe it might be time, might be money, whatever it is, right? I know a lot of you are still on the fence, and I want to challenge you, I want to inspire you, because I think you can be more than this. I think you can be better. And I've seen this happen time and time again. Like a lot of my students, when they first come to me, they're in the exact same boat. But, recently in our community, we actually did this thing called March Madness. And this is where we created our own original work, or like a cover, and we shared it into our community. And I just thought this was a really cool reminder, because a lot of us, we want to make music. We want to express, we want to create things. But a lot of the times we hold ourselves back. And so I want to let you know, it is never too late to get started. It is never too late to get started. And so if this has inspired you, I'd love to invite you to work with me, whether this be through my self-study course or working with me privately over Zoom. All the details are in the links down below. So once again, thank you so much for joining. My name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher, and I'll see you all for our next episode every single Thursday or Friday, depending on where you're joining me from. Take care.